Welcome back to another episode of the Carter Cast. I'm your host, Carter Vaughn. On today's show, it's just Dylan and I, the two-man crew. We recap everything that happened this weekend. We do NFL, college football, and then we do our initial thoughts going into week 4 of the NFL, week 5 of college football. We look at the lines, see what we like initially, and then we do our deep dive, obviously, on the next episode. We're going to have a full crew on our Friday pod. It's going to be me. It's going to be Dylan. It's going to be Grant. It's going to be Connor. It's going to be an awesome show. And then we also have an interview on top of it. We're going to have Mark Madsen from Utah Valley, former NBA champ with the Lakers, played forever with the Timberwolves. Can't wait for that interview. That'll be posted with the podcast on Friday. And then we'll also clip that separately. So if you follow us on YouTube or you follow us or you check out cartercast.com, it'll all be on there separately as well. Just look for the Mark Madsen interview on there. And we got some big stuff planned. And make sure to subscribe, like, rate, review, do what you got to do to help out the podcast. And I hope you guys enjoy today's show. All right, we're back. Two-man crew tonight. And then Friday nights, we're going to have the full crew. We're going to have an interview on the next show. It's going to be like a 2.5 hour show, for being honest. But we have our recap show tonight. We're going to start off in the NFL, Colts versus Chiefs. I thought was not the most important game of the day, but the one, if you're talking about, the sports books and all that, Vegas had their hands all over that one. We were both on the Colts. We both had Colts plus 5.5 and the money line. I would if it comes out in like 2 years that Amendola, the kicker for the Chiefs, was paid off by all the sports books in Vegas, I would not be surprised, because the Chiefs handed that game away. They handed that game away. The Colts are awful. I don't care what anybody says. The Colts aren't good. And if you're a Chiefs fan, there's nothing to worry about. Once you get an average kicker in there, they're going to go 13-4.
Yeah, Harrison Butker has to come back. He's one of him and Tucker, to me, they're like on this top tier, and then you have the rest of the kickers in the league. So whenever he gets back, I'm not sure what his timeline is. I think a lot of the Chiefs' worries are gone there. It was a very interesting game because as a bettor, you think we both had the Colts. It cashed, both of them, money line and the spread. Was it the right pick? Because all these things go wrong for the Chiefs that causes the Colts bet to hit. So I think about that too much. I try not to worry about it. I try to think about the fact that the money is in the account. But it was a great game. And we, as a podcast, we had the game nailed.
We called it exactly.
And Pittman was in, which definitely helped our cause. And the Colts just weren't going to lose that game. They needed to win that one. And the Chiefs were looking ahead to the Bucs, who they got to play in like a hurricane or something.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. That game might not even happen.
Yeah, the Bucs evacuated. I think they're practicing at Miami's facility, and they said that they're going to determine if the game is going to be played or not by I don't know when, but there is a possibility that game doesn't get played Sunday night.
What if they just played in the Trop indoor stadium? They just converted it real quick. That would be hilarious. But back to this game real quick. The Chiefs are going to be fine. There's nothing to worry about with the Chiefs. Their weapons obviously aren't that good. All the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now kind of have the worst weapons, ironically. And then all the worst quarterbacks in the league kind of have the best weapons. And then back to the Colts. I wasn't impressed even during the game when the Chiefs went up early, we had that first touchdown, and then the Chiefs just continued. Chiefs were up most of the game. For some reason, I don't know about you, I just wasn't worried about Colts plus 5.5. I was like, I feel like this is just gonna hit. It just doesn't feel like the Chiefs can pull away. They're even when they were up 7, going up for the field goal, I was like, I feel like the Colts still just cover here. It feels like the Chiefs could not cover that game no matter what.
The fact that the game stayed so low scoring, I'm with you. This wasn't one that I worried about, especially when it got to halftime and I think the Colts were down 4. I think it was 14-10. It was one of those things where it felt like that, Colts were going to cover. I was more worried about the money line because going into the fourth quarter, they were down, I think they were down 4 still. And, they had to score that last minute touchdown to end up winning. That was what I was worried about. But great game. Colts got their first win. As a Titans fan, it pains me, but hey, we were able to get our first win too. So now the AFC South might be bad, but it's at least scrappy now.
It is scrappy. It's not. It's not that bad. We'll get into the AFC South in a minute. Let's talk Bills Dolphins. Once again, Vegas had their hands all over this game. They were making sure the people that did their little Bills Chiefs money line parlays or teasers were not winning, no matter what. They were making sure that happened. And I was not involved in this game. I was like, you know what? Nothing feels right. This feels like one of those games. Going down to Miami in September is awful for any team. Funky stuff happens every single time a team has to go to Miami in September. And then the Bills had almost triple the snaps Miami had. And I just don't know how the Bills lost. I'm just convinced Vegas just said, hey, we're making sure the Bills lose this one. The Bills will probably go 15-2, 14-3. The Chiefs and the Bills are just fine. I still don't know if Tua is good or not. And he was definitely concussed.
Carter, that clip was hilarious when I saw it on Twitter. I saw him get up and start walking, and then
he was gone. He was
that was hilarious. That was funny. And, I think they're actually they're investigating that. The NFL Players Association.
The Players Association, yeah.
That'll be interesting to see for Thursday night. What are the repercussions if they find, is there any chance that he doesn't play Thursday? Because I have no clue. I don't know I guess if he's actually concussed, he might have to sit out. But that was crazy. That whole game was insane. And I didn't have anything on it directly, but prior to game time, I had put together a Fade the Public parlay, and it was the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Patriots all against the spread and money line. So as we all know, that lost by 1. So I was rooting for the Dolphins. I also have them to win the AFC East, and this was a big one to get if that was going to happen. And going back to what you said about playing in Miami, you're absolutely right. And you saw it with Stephon Diggs. He was cramping up like no other during that game, sitting out plays. And while he might be sitting out marginal plays, a couple here and there, those add up to make a big difference.
100%. Yeah, and Josh Allen threw for 400 yards, and Tyreek Hill had 33 yards receiving. And the Dolphins still won this game. It just makes no sense. That's why I'm convinced Vegas just but I stayed away. I was so disciplined this week. I am so proud of myself. There was no overs. There was no crazy. I didn't do a single first touchdown. I was great. I think the under 11.5 hit. I think it was 11 on the dot though. But I went.
Which one was that?
Because you said whether my plays. We're gonna ask Sunday night whether it ended up being over 11.5 plays. I think it was 11, and I think it was 11 on the dot, and I went 10-1. The only one I lost was the Bears Texans under, and I'm not upset about that one. I feel like that was the right pick. It just it died early. It died early, and then they only scored like one more point or one more field goal after that, which is fine. It just makes me comforts me that I made the right pick. But going into another game that was kind of gross, Panthers Saints. I'll talk about the Panthers real quick. Actually, before we get into that, congratulations, another winning pick on the action articles. If you're not reading them, you're an idiot. Go check them out right now.
I'll tell you what, those first quarter, first half, whatever unders, they seem to hit pretty well. Like, I was just talking with my buddy about it. I didn't tell him to take it, but he had read the articles and he took I think it was Giants team total first half under 9.5. And they only had 6. It's something about these teams, the Giants, the Saints. I hate to say it, Carter, but the Panthers, they just don't score a lot in the first half of the game. And most of the time,
score a lot in general.
Yeah, sometimes it goes the whole game. But yeah, it was great. The Saints literally scored 0 points the first half, and that's all due to that Panthers defense. I know we like to. Well, I don't do it too much, but you guys like to hate on the Panthers, rightfully so. I get that, but your guys' defense is not bad at all.
No, and we've known that. We've known the defense is legit. But the offense is awful. The offense is terrible. And the frustrating part about the Panthers is that you can see there's legit talent on this team. You can see there's good weapons. The defense is awesome. The quarterback is average. He's not great. Quarterback has been average for 4 or 5 years, whatever you want to say. But the thing is, I feel like that's the problem is a great coach could come in and we could be a legit playoff team. I think we have that kind of talent in the locker room, but there's the Panthers could easily be 3-0 is the frustrating part of all this. But yeah, offense looked awful, defense looked awesome. And also last thing on the Panthers real quick, I'm just shocked that the players they still like Matt Rule from what it looks like. He hasn't lost the locker room, which is crazy.
I thought you reported last week that he had lost the locker room.
Well, I reported that Luke Kuechly doesn't like him, and I still think I know that's true. And then I also reported that the defensive coordinator, there was some problems there. Apparently got fixed this week with Jeremy Chin being able to blitz a lot more. That was a big thing. But anyhow, to the Saints, I said it repeatedly throughout the offseason, first couple weeks, even when the Saints beat the Falcons, the Saints are frauds. They are not good. I loved their under win totals this year. I think it was 9. I think it was 9 wins. This is not a winning football team. They are not good. Jameis Winston, I love Jameis. Interview Jameis. I hate football Jameis. It's boring. It's not even like exciting Jameis anymore where it's pick sixes and crazy runs and throwing 40-yard dots or just ridiculous plays. It's just boring. He's kind of boring.
Yeah, and I was big on two guys really going into the past couple years, and that was Jameis and that was Tua. The Tua one's kind of coming to light a little bit. The Jameis one's not panning out so well. That might be one that I'm just pot committed to, and I have to ride it until he gets cut. But you're exactly right. When he was with the Bucs, he was a 30 touchdown, 30 interception type guy. He'd he'd put up quite honestly the most impressive stat line ever because it'd be like 4 interceptions and 4 touchdowns. And we're just not seeing that this year. And I don't know what the difference is, but maybe the LASIK didn't help. Maybe it hurt.
Maybe not. I had a little promo, like ESPN's a get up promo or first take. Jameis or Lamus coming up next on First Take.
You need to there's got to be someone you can email and send that into.
Connor. We have Connor on, yeah.
There you go. Send it into him. Hey, get this in the rotation, man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Saints, kind of a gross game. Like I was pretty confident the whole time. Even when the Saints were coming back, I was like, whatever. But I'm not impressed with the Panthers other than the defense. The offense, a lot of work has got to be done there. Moving on, Chargers versus Jags. Jags are good. Let's talk about the Chargers real quick. Rashawn Slater out for the year. Kind of looking like the year from hell for the Chargers, if we're being honest. Why did Justin Herbert play in this one? There was no need to play him. Just sit him. Just take the loss. Let him rest. There was no need to play him in this one.
Yeah, that's a great question, especially, he got an injection in his lungs or like his ribs or something, which that was the
same
issue
doctor
Tyrod Taylor had. Yeah.
It's the same doctor.
I kept seeing memes on Twitter about the dude Walt from Breaking Bad sitting in the car, and it's like, Justin, don't take the shot. Just sit out 3 weeks. So I have no clue, and it didn't even pan out for him. I didn't think he was going to play because we saw that line move from like 7 to 3.5, and now knowing what we know that Justin Herbert played the game, it really makes me wonder why that line, moves in the first place. But besides the point, Jags may be legit. I'm not entirely convinced yet, but time will tell. I guess we're only 3 weeks in. Chargers, trouble in paradise. That was like everybody's trendy pick to win the Super Bowl. It was the Chargers. So I bet Vegas is pretty happy about what's going on over there right now.
Yeah, with Slater out, Herbert kind of sketch. Keenan Allen can't stay healthy. Mike Williams isn't going to stay healthy. Austin Eckler looks like a shell of himself. We're seeing a disaster from the Chargers, and we'll get into this game, or we'll get into the next game. But like someone like the Raiders at 0-3, they're not out of this whatsoever.
Oh no, and the Raiders, they're an enigma to me. The AFC. Let me do my thinking here. AFC West. They're honestly not like the Chiefs are here, and then everybody else is kind of like sandwiched in here. Mm-hmm. It's really gonna be an interesting season and seeing how that pans out.
And then on the Jags real quick, I'll say I think Trevor Lawrence is. I mean, it might not be a hot take or anything like that. Trevor Lawrence is a top 10 quarterback in this league.
Top 10?
Top 10.
Top 10.
Top 10.
I could name you 11. I could name you 11 better than him.
Go for it.
Right
Go
now.
for it right now.
Lamar Jackson, Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes, Josh
Yeah.
Allen, Tua,
Kirk
Kirk Cousins.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm
convinced on
saying
those
Kirk
two.
Cousins.
I would take
I go-
Trevor Lawrence. I would take Trevor over Kirk Cousins.
Derek Carr,
Mm.
Joe Burrow,
Joe Burrow.
Jalen
yes.
Hurts,
Jalen Hurts. Yes. Like, even though I don't want to, you have to say yes.
Matt Stafford. I'm gonna say
I'm saying
Aaron
this year,
Rodgers.
right
Aaron
now-
Rodgers, Tom Brady. There we go. That's 11.
But you said Tua, Kirk Cousins. Does that no?
Tua is better. From what we've seen from Tua is better than Trevor Lawrence.
Kirk Cousins.
Okay, Kirk Cousins, as long as he's not playing on prime time. Sunday, 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins. Okay, take out Kirk Cousins and give me Marcus Mariota. I would say Marcus Mariota is better.
Trevor Lawrence is legit. He is legit. He's only going to get better. I'm telling you right now.
Now that's true. That's true. He will only get better. These rookies, everybody expects them to come out their first 1 or 2 years and just absolutely light it up, and it takes much longer than that. It's such a longer process than 1 or 2
And
years.
not even that. He was in the most disaster circumstances, and you should take a victory lap because Urban Meyer was the disaster.
He destroyed one of the most promising teams last year. Don't even get me started on Urban Meyer. His Twitter stuff makes me so mad. Did you see? Sidebar a little bit. Did you see the picture of him at the Michigan game after one of the interceptions?
I saw they banned all Urban Meyer signs.
Oh, that's soft too. That would. Don't even get me started, Carter. But he was standing there like this during an interception. It was a beautiful photo, and then. It wasn't Desmond Howard. Charles Woodson was on the side, but in the same picture, going crazy. I'll have to send it to you, but man, it was amazing. Urban Meyer's the biggest loser I've ever heard of. His legacy is in Florida, and he's still claiming things from Ohio State from when he was there. Not my thing. Justin Fields, fraud quarterback, and I think he was there during the Urban Meyer era. Just saying.
We'll get into that game in a second, but the Jags at plus 225 to win this division is not the craziest thing in the world. It kind of shocked me how even after this win against the Chargers, I thought they were going to be like plus 150.
And that for me is where I get kind of nervous. I'm like, okay,
exactly.
What do they know that I don't? Mm-hmm. But I do think that, and I think the Titans are plus 2 something to win the division as well.
I think they're like 270, yeah.
The Colts are favorited. I don't think they win the division. I think it's either going to be the Titans or the Jags, obviously not the Texans. So I don't hate that bet one bit. I would take that.
Moving on, let's talk Packers Bucks, the gross game.
Didn't watch it, I'll be honest.
I texted you. I said this is gonna be my first like big under. I went big on this game. I originally said 1 unit. That did not happen. It ended up being a few more. And I was like, I'm going under. And then immediately out of the gate, there's 10 points in like 6 minutes. I'm like, this is why I don't do it. This is why I don't do unders. I was so mad at myself. There just wasn't points for the next 3 quarters. It was awesome. Gross game. Packers need a receiver. The Packers need a receiver so bad. Like, I wonder if both teams, if they could just be like, hey, would you take back the trades right now? I wonder if both teams would accept it between the Raiders and Packers.
This is a beautiful lesson as to why, as a quarterback, you shouldn't chase a huge payday because you end up having Randall Cobb as wide receiver 1. So, like, Aaron Rodgers was. Did you watch this game, like, from its entirety?
Did. Yeah, okay. I watched the whole game.
Okay. I mean, it was the geriatric bowl. These guys are old. They can't move. And when both teams didn't have receivers. Mike Evans was out. Godwin's still out. Tom is missing Gronk like something else right now.
Julio Jones isn't real. Scotty Miller, Tom Brady loves his little scrappy gym rat receivers.
I guess
Scotty Miller. No, not Scotty Miller. Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley made the appearance.
Yes. When I saw that he got pulled up, I was like, man, they must really be hurting. But it was. I didn't get to watch the game. I want to know how you felt betting it under and watching the whole game. I mean, you're winning the whole time, Carter. So pretty fun.
Well, not the whole time because the first quarter, I think the live line went up to about because it was under 42 if I'm not mistaken. The live line went up to like 50 something.
But
And I'm
that's
like,
okay because you were still you were under the end total.
no. I had 42, under 42. And then in the middle of the first quarter, it goes, the live line was at like 53 or yeah, 53 total. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh, well, it's over, blah, blah, blah. And then just slowly but surely, red zone turnovers, like you were saying, just everything just kept happening. I was like, this is why
It's
this is why you
fun.
do unders. I think because especially after this NFL season, because the unders are hitting at a 67% clip right now. I think if you don't like betting unders, I mean, it's fun when they hit, man. Because
It
in the
really
past,
is. Nothing better than red zone turnovers or like turnover on downs in the red zone. I mean, it's just
especially when it's like and when it's bad teams, it's so good. Like it's
mhm.
so nice. But I mean, the Bucks and Packers aren't bad teams, they're just good defenses with no receivers. But back to the Bucks real quick. I know they're injured, but this offense is lost. I think it's call me crazy, but the Falcons have the best offense in the NFC South.
I don't hate that. I'm Team Marcus Mariota here. And Tennessee, we taught him everything he knows, and he
Falcons
goes
are a
to
covering machine.
100%. And I think this line ended up being about a pick 'em for that Falcons game. They've impressed me all season. The backdoor cover against the Rams. I mean, they're not a bad team. Their record doesn't
America's
reflect
team.
100%. Bye bye Cowboys. And
Even
they
as a Panthers fan, you can't help like them being them. I mean, what are they? 1-2 Falcons?
mhm.
Yeah, 1-2. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna win 5 games, but they're gonna cover like 13.
Good
So
teams win, great teams cover. It's as simple
mhm,
as that.
legacy lives on. Rams versus Cardinals. Uh, both teams didn't impress me by any means. Cooper Kupp is amazing still. Stafford, something's wrong with him. Uh, yeah, I'm not impressed by the Rams. That Cardinals defense is atrocious. It's awful. If you don't score more than 24 points against that Cardinals defense, something is wrong, and Kingsbury's got to be fired. His time is imminent. I think he's got to be. I think Ron Rivera might be the first coach fired. It's leaning that
Yeah.
way, but if the way they're playing in Arizona, Kyler's going to get hurt I would be shocked if Kyler Murray made it to week 10. I would be genuinely shocked. He has no protection. He is running for his life every single play.
It's funny to think back to this time last year and how the Cardinals were the trendy team. Like they were the team that everybody was on. And now
Even when
it's
they were hot, they kind of felt like that Steelers team that went 12-0. You're like,
mm.
it doesn't feel like they're that good though.
I forgot about that Steelers team, Carter. Oh my gosh.
And that
That's too
Steelers
funny.
team was awful. But in the
Yeah.
Cardinals team, we all knew that Cardinals team was going to come back to life. But yeah, this game was gross. Cardinals. Of course I also had Cardinals money line on a parlay. That was brutal.
This was one game, like if I look at the two teams, I don't know how to explain this. I'm sure you feel the same thing, but when I look at two teams, there are certain games where I can tell over or under. And this is a game where I would think over. Like I think the total was pretty high. It was probably in the 50s. And obviously 32-point total. If I would have bet the over, I'd be punching myself in the face. So I'm glad I stayed away
100%.
from it.
Okay, let's steamroll through a couple of these. Bengals versus the Jets. Bengals finally showed up. Flacco stinks, and I want to see Zach Wilson so bad. I just want to see him play. I hate watching the Jets on red zone. I hate seeing Joe Flacco. It just seems like a waste of time playing Joe Flacco. It just seems like nothing's being solved. It's just you're kind of just not even treading water. You're just sitting by the pool. You're not even in the pool swimming, treading water, doing anything. You're just sitting by the pool. Zach Wilson, you're on the diving board. Something's gonna happen. You could break your face in, or you're gonna do a perfect dive, or you're gonna do a cannonball with a big splash, something like that.
That's a good analogy. It's like a diving board. You don't know how deep the water is. It could be 3 feet. It
Exactly.
could be 12. We don't know.
Exactly. And so I'm tired. I hope Zach Wilson plays week 4. They said he's going to play. Don't know if that's 100% true. Bengals, it was very comforting to know that the Bengals can just beat the Jets by double digits. Someone can actually beat the Jets by double digits. It needed to happen soon. And perfect response by Cincinnati.
All is well in the world now. Jets losing by double digits.
Yep. Eagles versus the Commanders. Eagles are legit. Eagles are legit, and I was dead wrong on that one. I wasn't dead wrong. I did say they would win the division, but
Yeah.
Commanders are just awful. They're awful. Carson Wentz, same old story. Ron Rivera will probably get fired. It's FedEx Field's probably the worst stadium in football. Everything about the Commanders is awful. And then, but yeah, only question to come out of this one is: are the Eagles the best team in the NFC?
It's hard to say that they're not right now, especially with the Giants losing. The Eagles have the best record. They haven't, you have to refresh my memory. They had the Commanders, they played the Lions, and they played the Vikings. Okay, the Vikings aren't that bad. So
the Lions aren't that bad either. The Lions aren't that bad.
Sneaky good team. They let that slide against the Vikings this week, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I think you can make a case for the Eagles being the best team in the NFC, especially after seeing a bit of regression on the Rams side so early in the season. It's a little too early to tell, but as of right now, I think you can make a decent case for that.
Titans versus the Raiders. Neither team impressed me. Even though the Titans won, Derrick Henry's finally back. He's alive again.
Yeah, we're back. We are going to win the AFC South. We have the Colts next week, 3-point underdogs. We're going to beat them outright in Indianapolis. Colts were too busy focused on this little game they had this week, and now Titans are back. Let's go.
Yeah, they won. The thing with the Raiders is I'm not down on the Raiders yet, though. Like, I'm not going to overreact to 0-3. This team could easily go 9-8. Like, they have talent. Derek Carr is good. Devontae Adams is good. Darren Waller is good. Their defense is terrible. There's no doubt about that. But the AFC West was the most overhyped division I think we've ever seen. The only team that looks good is the Chiefs. Chargers would look good if they were healthy. But if you're a Raiders fan, I know it's probably like all, hell is burning in local Vegas radio stations for the Raiders. But I don't think it's that bad. Like, yeah, you don't want to be 0-3, obviously, but if you go 0-4 next week, who do they play next week off the top of the head?
Let me look it up real quick. I have it right here.
I've only looked at like 3 lines. So
the Raiders play the Broncos at Las Vegas.
Whoever loses that game might be done.
We're getting awfully close, and it's crazy to think how many people were high on this Broncos team too. I guess they're 2-1, but oh man, they don't look good.
Moving on, Falcons, Seahawks. Falcons not that bad. Seahawks, and I'll say this about the Seahawks: if they do get the first overall pick and take Bryce Young or whoever, they're not in bad shape. If you're a young rookie quarterback coming into that situation with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett's not what Tyler Lockett typically is, but you have DK Metcalf, you have some decent weapons. I think Kenneth Walker will be good. Rashad Penny's not that bad. I don't think it's a bad situation you're going into compared to what it could be.
I think they need to get some pieces on defense. Their pass defense is pretty poor. I don't know if they need a quarterback. I understand Geno Smith
you need a
isn't.
Quarterback.
But his numbers from the last 3 weeks really aren't that bad.
But the problem is Geno's like all these other guys like Teddy Bridgewater, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, whoever, Mac Jones. You can even put Mac Jones in that category. They're just guys who are not going to win you football games, but they won't necessarily absolutely lose you football games, but they're never going to win you football games. Sam Darnold will lose you football games, though.
I don't know. We'll put a pin in that take because I'm not so sure about that one, Carter. But I do think they have to do something with that defense. They let way too many passing plays for big yards go. They need to fix that big time.
That was the crazy thing. I did not think this was going to be a shootout.
Oh, no, 100%. I would have said under if you had me pick a total.
I had the under. I had the under like ready to hit, and I was like, no, I'm not.
Look at that. Responsible Carter. Only responsible on Carter Cast.
It just felt wrong. It felt wrong. And then it's crazy because when you have a 10-1 day or whatever it was, I don't remember off the top of my head. If you include spreads and money line, it was probably more than that because I doubled down on a lot of teams. It was like you're just seeing it so clearly, clearly. And then moving on real quick, Ravens, Pats, Mac Jones is hurt. Lamar is probably the MVP. Not
Oh yeah.
probably. He has to be the MVP. I know Jalen Hurts is the favorite. There, Lamar might be. I can't get enough of Lamar.
I'm going to put us on alert right now. This Lamar situation might be he asked for too much money. He can't get pieces around him, and they end up, falling
Being
away.
bad
But
next year.
maybe next year, 2 or 3 years, I don't know. But he's going to take a
I
big
don't.
hit to the cap. He's going to ask for way too much money. I'm worried
I
about it.
don't. It's kind of like the Aaron Jones or not Aaron Jones, Aaron Judge thing. Aaron Judge, didn't want it was a lot of money, but it wasn't what he wanted. Aaron Judge is going to get the most insane contract baseball has ever seen. And
Mhm.
Lamar Jackson is probably going to get the most money the NFL has ever seen.
Yep. And honestly, rightfully so, probably. He's
He
a very
deserves
good
it.
quarterback. Yeah,
He
100%.
deserves it. He absolutely wins them football games, hands down. Him single-handedly, he is keeping them alive in all these football games.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be hard to re-sign him, like Andrews or any of those guys if they want to ask for more too. But I agree with you 100%. Ravens are a great
Okay,
football team.
moving to the Pats real quick. Also, Ravens beat the Pats if you didn't watch the game. Is it Bailey Zapp or Bailey Zappi?
I keep hearing Zappy, but I thought it was Zap.
I thought it was Zapp too, so I don't know. Anyhow, I don't know if it's him or Hoyer that'll be starting next week, but I have a little spicy take. I don't think they're going to be any worse
Oh
with
no.
whoever starts.
Just like you said earlier when we were talking about Geno Smith, you compared it to like Mac Jones being a quarterback that won't win you games. Mac Jones is very vanilla. Brian Hoyer and Zap, whatever you
I
want
was
to call
never mind.
it. Come on, Carter. If it's bad, we can cut it. You can
Yeah,
cut it.
I was gonna say, are you saying he's vanilla because he's white?
Oh, well, that works too. And that vanilla must be like Belichick's favorite ice cream flavor too, because that's really all he has at quarterback, other than the one year he had Cam Newton. But like, I agree with you. I don't think that there's going to be a huge difference between whoever he decides to start this week and Mac Jones, because Mac Jones is not going to be the guy that goes off for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. So Patriots are also dead to me. I want to add Patriots dead to me because they ruined the parlay, money line, and cover, fade the public. Dead to me.
Also, screw the Bills. The parlay almost hit this week. We had Jags +7, easy. Colts +5.5, and then Grant had to go all square this week and go Bills -3 first half.
L7 weenie. Oh my gosh.
And then let's go through this one. Lions Vikings. Lions aren't that bad. Lions aren't that bad. Lions are not that bad. If you watch Lions games, they are a top 10 most entertaining team to watch in football right now. I don't think I was gonna say 7. I was gonna say 6, but I didn't go through the teams quick enough in my head, so I wanted to be safe and said 10.
I will 100% agree with you there. And I don't know if Okuda was on Jefferson or not, but if he was, Okuda is going to have a heck of a season because Jefferson did not do anything that game. I mean, anything.
That's my question I have here. So Jefferson going off for 200,000 yards, whatever he had in week 1. Him exploding in week 1, was it the worst thing to happen to Justin Jefferson? Because now every team is going after him 10 times harder.
For Jefferson, it was probably a pretty bad thing, but for the Vikings, I don't think it's bad at all because they still have enough weapons at the wide receiver to make something work. That
KJ Osborne, sneaky good
wide receiver. Adam Thielen, he's getting older, but again, sneaky good quarterback. Watch this. Just killed that fly. Thank you very much.
There we go.
But you're right. They have all the weapons at wide receiver. Even if Justin Jefferson isn't getting all these receptions, there's other options. Irv Smith Jr., a fine tight end. I mean, and Kirk Cousins, he won't run the ball. And with Dalvin Cook being out, that sucks, but Madison's just as good.
I was about to say, Dalvin Cook, a little washed.
Yep, possibly. And everybody was snatching him up in my fantasy leagues. I was like, oh yeah, please take Dalvin Cook. I want nothing to do with that guy.
I tried to get Dalvin Cook in multiple leagues, didn't get him in one. Blessing in disguise. And then real quick, yeah, but that's the thing. Alexander, it's kind of another little analogy here. You know how everyone thinks Tony Pollard is better than Zeke? It's kind of true. I kind of think the same thing with Alexander Madison slowly. This year and years past, not a chance. Dalvin Cook was miles better. this year, Dalvin Cook has been awful.
I would say Madison's more reliable in the terms of he just doesn't get injured as much. Dalvin Cook, it feels like every single year he's only playing 13 or 14 games, which I guess is a good chunk of the games, but you want that guy playing every game and every snap he can. So
100%.
Madison's not bad.
Texans Bears. We're not gonna. One.
Yeah,
This
gross
is the
game.
one. This is my one loss I had all weekend. I don't know how this game went over. I don't. Besides parlays, the two parlays I had, three parlays. I had three. All for half units. It was okay. But I don't know how this game went over. I don't know how this game went over. And it went over quick. The over hit in the third quarter, and then of course only 3 more points hit. Whatever. We already did enough on this one, and game went exactly as I thought. Exactly as anybody would think, that one of these quarterbacks were going to have a consequential turnover at the end to cost the game, and Justin Fields has some big question marks.
Oh, huge. And when you look at how he was brought up at Ohio State, anybody could have expected this. Name me an Ohio State quarterback that made it big in the NFL.
Braxton Miller.
Braxton Miller, yeah. I can name you one Michigan quarterback, Tom Brady from Michigan. There you go. So
I've never heard of him. 49ers versus the Broncos. Game was awful. Game was awful. Well, Jimmy G doing the Dan Orlovsky. That was just so perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Like when I watched like stupid football like that, like the Daniel Joneses of the world and those kind of guys, the Sam Darnolds of the world, if he wasn't on my team, I love seeing those kind of just ridiculous plays, because people like Brian, who are big Trey Lance guys, it confirmed everything. That one play, like not even the whole game. You didn't need all the early missed throws in the first 3 quarters or whatever. That one play where he got the safety and then luckily he stepped out of bounds because he threw a pick 6. Like it confirmed everything, that Trey Lance is the guy, even though there might have been some growing pains. Trey Lance was always the guy, and you just don't even get to have him. You don't even get to have him. I don't know what Kyle Shanahan did to the football gods, because he was in Atlanta. He was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta, right, for the Super Bowl. I don't know what he did to the football gods, but that's
Go ahead and bookmark this because it might need cut, but there's just something about these 49ers quarterbacks putting their foot down on racism, stepping back in that end zone right on that end racism. And then, what else happened in San Francisco. But you're right, gross game. I mean, big under game, 21 points, 11-10, not a scoregami, because there was some.
We were so close.
There was some game way back when, on a technicality, they added a point or two. I can't remember what it was. I'd have to look it up, but so close to our first scoregami of the year. Ugly score, 11-10. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know how the Broncos are 2-1. And then last thing on this game, what did Javonte Williams do to the coaching staff? Did he punch someone? Did he I don't know. I don't want to send false accusations. I don't know what he did to the coaching staff, but
are you talking about there? Because Melvin Gordon was getting all those touches after? Didn't he drop 2 fumbles or something?
He had 2-3 fumbles. He was awful. And then they're bringing in Mike Boone. I don't even know what his name was, over Javonte Williams. But then every time Javonte Williams is in, it's 7 yards for this carry, 4 yards for this carry, nice reception, 5 yards, 10-yard carry. Here we go. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. I don't know what he did, but
might be classic Hackett, a classic Nathaniel Hackett job right there. Not seeing what he's got.
Exactly. Okay, let's do some initial thoughts on the week. What is it? 4? Week 4.
Week 4. Bad news. Well, I did the math today. We're already a sixth of the way through the season.
Ooh.
Yeah, think about that.
I don't like that. I know.
But on the other hand, we have 5-6 left.
There we go. All right, let's do the initial thoughts on the week 1 lines. All right, I've only worked at a couple of lines on the let's see here for next week. I haven't dived deep into any of them really. The only obviously, I get texts about the Panthers lines constantly whenever they come out. Let's just run through the slate super quick and just initial thoughts on it. Thursday night, Miami at Cincinnati. The Bengals are -3.5. Over under is 47. Initial thoughts. I love the Bengals here.
I thought about taking the Bengals. I'm on the over. I got it at 47.5, so it hasn't moved in my favor. It went up a little bit. It went back down. It'll be interesting to see how it goes with the
I do like the over too.
But I could see this game being like 30-28 or something high scoring. Tua and Burrow, both great quarterbacks. If Burrow gets some time to throw, we know the Dolphins offense can score. So I like the over at first glance on this one. And Bengals a little bit.
Yeah, I think it might be Bengals in the over on that one. London game. We got a London game. A 7:30 kickoff Mountain Time, 6:30 Pacific. You wake up
9:30. This is a tough one because I'll be checking my phone during church. I mean, that's not great. That's not great.
Yeah, no, it's not good. I 11 a.m. kickoffs for me. It's not good for the old church. But London game, Minnesota versus Minnesota versus New Orleans. Minnesota is -2.5, over under 44. I like Minnesota in this one. I know it's gross, but I like Minnesota.
I got Minnesota. I think it honestly might have been before Sunday to win at -110. I would still take it at -2.5. They're going to blow out the Saints, especially in London. It's always good to take the away team, even as a favorite, because people don't like the public seems to take the home. Well, I guess this isn't technically a home game for anybody. No, I didn't think about that. I still like the Vikings if you can get them -2.5.
Yeah, once it gets up
better
to 3
than the
out. Once you get up to 3 out, I would wait for it to go back to 2.5. I don't think it'll go past 3 though.
Yeah.
The game of the week: Buffalo at Baltimore. The Bills are -3.5 on the road, over under 52. This feels like one where the public is going to win a lot of money on the over. It's going to be like a sharp thing to be under, and like 75% of the public's going to be on over 52, and it's still going to hit. It's just one of those games, it feels like.
I have a tough time in wrapping my mind around this one because I see both these teams, both high-scoring teams, but that Bills defense, are they going to be able – well, I guess, first of all, they're going to be healthy because they were missing tons of people last week. And number two, are they going to be able to stop Lamar? And that question I really haven't came to an answer to yet. I'm on the Bills here, actually. I got it at -3. I think maybe it might have been this morning or yesterday. I would take it up to, honestly, 4 or 5. I think the Bills can win this game coming off of a pretty bad loss last week.
I like a Mark Andrews touchdown 100% in this one. I don't know what the odds are, but if it's like -120 or anything below that, I love Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. And I kind of like the Ravens on a teaser here. I don't see the Ravens getting blown out in this one. I think the Ravens keep it close. You can tease them to +10. I love that. Jacksonville. This might be game of the week potential too. Jacksonville at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is -6.5, over under 48.5. Initial thoughts. I like the under here. I like the under 48.5.
That's not bad either, especially when you consider the Eagles' points last week all came in one quarter. They all came in the second quarter. So, if that happens again, that puts you in a really good space for the under. I have no feel for this game, but my default's always going to be the under.
And 6.5 is that sweet spot we always love.
So is Jacksonville's away, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love. I would think I would take the Jags here. Actually, I would take the Jags +6.5 away, an away dog.
Gonna wait on this line movement though. Cleveland at Atlanta.
Ooh.
Kind of an interesting game. Cleveland -1.5, over under is 50. Once again, I kind of like the under in this one.
Really? So, did you hear about the Myles Garrett news?
I did hear the Myles Garrett news. I think you texted us about it. But
yeah, so last week, this was before Sunday, I got Falcons Browns over 45, and now it's at 50. So obviously that comes with Myles Garrett.
That's the whole thing. I don't know. Is he playing or is he out?
There's no shot. I don't think there's any shot he plays. I
They
think
said
he's
his
like,
injuries were minor.
oh, they did. I saw that it wasn't life threatening.
Maybe that was it then. I don't want to. I don't want to put out. I don't want to put out fake news. So I won't say anything. Myles Garrett's playing and healthy. Give me the under. If he's out, I'm staying away. I'm just gonna stay away. I might bet on the Falcons because they're just the dogs, man. Like home dog against this Cleveland team. Cleveland's not that good, and if Myles Garrett's out, I really like Cleveland, or I really like Atlanta here.
I would have to see how good the Falcons' run defense is. I don't know off the top of my head, but I mean,
Can't
the
be
Browns
that
are like
good.
the Titans the last 3 years. They love to run the ball. They love to run the ball.
Seahawks at Detroit. Detroit is -6. Over under is 50.
I had
Ooh,
Detroit here at -6.
that's
It
a
might
lot
be a
of
little
points.
square. Yeah, it might be a little square. I don't know yet, but I think the Lions are better than the Seahawks, and I guess that's all I need to know in order to bet on them. So
This is a stay away for me. If I had to pick a side, Lions are getting almost a touchdown. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can like physically sit there and take Lions by 6 points against anybody in the National Football League. But this is a different Lions team, so who knows? Chargers at the Texans. Chargers -5, over under 44.5. It opened at Chargers -7.
yeah, I'm the big loser here because I got them at -6.5, and it's moved in the opposite direction. So I think I have one unit on that. I think I'm just going to stay away and pray that they pull something out of their butts and cover the 6.5.
Yeah, and this is one too where like I getting the under now might not be the worst thing in the world. I don't know what did it open higher or lower?
The total?
Yeah, I'm looking here. Let's see here real quick. Not the spread. We want the total. Total opened at 45 and 46. 46 and a half, 45 and a half around there. So it's down to 44 and a half. So people are betting the under. I kind of lean under there because I don't know what Justin Herbert we're going to get. I think we might see a
That's
little
true.
Chase Daniel action
That's probably the
and
right thing. They should probably get him out there.
make him earn his paycheck. Tennessee at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is -3, over under 42 and a half. I've got nothing.
Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins this game. The Colts are coming off a very big win. Uh, I don't know. I wish I had some stats right now. I'll have some stats Wednesday for the show to back these up. But Titans really are not that bad of a team, and the Colts aren't either. But I think we'll see a good game here in Indianapolis.
Just so there's no confusion, we're recording on Wednesday. It'll be posted
Nope.
Friday. We're gonna
Yes.
we used to record Thursday nights. The Wednesday night schedule. I know we're gonna miss the Thursday game, but it works out. It works out way better for everybody that's involved. Alrighty, let's move on here. Jets at the Steelers. Steelers -3.5, over under 41.5.
Ugly
Steelers are
game.
the play. Steelers, I think, are the play here. Under's probably the play here too. But I can't take the Steelers if Zach Wilson is playing. I think
That's I,
I think it'll just be just a small 1 unit play, nothing big, maybe a half unit, maybe not even a full unit on Jets +3.5, just as a loyalty play to Zach Wilson.
in solidarity with the Cougars.
And it's kind of like fading myself too, because I'm like, oh, Steelers -3.5 against the Jets. Duh. No. A little reverse action going in my head. Commanders at the Cowboys. Gross. Every NFC East game sucks. Cowboys
Under.
-3, over under 42.5.
Big ol' under game. I don't know why I can't say it. And Cooper Rush actually kind of showed me tonight. He might not be that bad of a quarterback, but
He's gonna have a
still,
job for life. Job for life, guaranteed.
oh yeah. I mean, he would fit perfectly with the Panthers.
No.
Perfectly with the Panthers.
We're more in the Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones.
But either way, these NFC East matchups, if they don't involve the Eagles, they just it's like, oh, this game's going under, especially when the Cowboys don't have their starting quarterback. So I'm going under for this one.
Chicago versus the Giants. Giants -3.5, over under 39.5.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. that over seems too. That line seems a little too low for me. I feel like it should be a little bit higher.
What, the over under?
Yeah.
I kind of like the over on that one. I'm not gonna lie. I was leaning a little over. I
I don't
think
know why, because I know the Giants can't score. I know they can't score. Why would I? Oh, Dylan. I'm gonna rack
but
my brain about this all week.
yeah. Do you know what you're assigned to?
Yes, I have the Titans Colts,
Oh, there you
so
go.
I
So
won't be a homer pick at all. My journalistic integrity is on the line this week.
all right. My game, Arizona at Carolina. Carolina is -1.5 now. The line opened at +1.5, over under 44. Is this a coach leaves town game? The loser of this game, does this coach get fired?
Wouldn't that be fun if they knew that beforehand and they were actually
That would be
coaching for that?
awesome.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Yeah, you might have a case for that. Both of these coaches. Well, I saw something that said Matt Rule is not even close to on the chopping block on Twitter.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
don't
if I
know.
sent that to you or
You
not,
can't
but
believe anything we hear from Panthers PR.
that's fair. I'm on the losing end of this one. I took the Cardinals like -2.5 before Sunday. And I told you I'm on the over. I was completely wrong. I'm on the under. I'm on under 44. And I'm putting my faith in the Panthers defense.
I don't hate that. I think Kyler's going to have to run for at least 50 yards, 50, 60 yards in this one minimum. That Lord forgive me, but I like the Panthers in this one.
I
I
don't
like the
hate that either.
Panthers.
I don't think the
I
Panthers
would.
are going to be as bad as you guys think. I think they're
I
going to
don't think
squeak
we're
out a
that bad.
500 season.
No. If we can get to 9-8, I think we make the playoffs. I think the NFC's that bad. I think 9-8 makes the playoffs. I really do. That's we need. If we could have been 3-0 though. That's just what's so
Yep.
frustrating.
Yeah.
We are a 58-yard kick away from Cade York to be 1-0, and then Graham Gano, of course, revenge game, plays the game of his life against us. Should have been 2-0, and then we actually beat the Saints. We whooped the Saints, and I was all over Panthers. Everything in that game went 4-0 on picks in that game alone. 4-0, 4-0. I'll pat myself on the back time. New England at Green Bay. Green Bay is -10.5. The New England Patriots will not have Mac Jones. It'll be a little Bailey Zappy Zap, whatever you want to call him, or Brian Hoyer action here. Over under 39.5. I know the Pats defense is good. I still it's a stay away. It's a stay away. It's a 10-point tease for the Packers though, right?
I think it almost has to be. The Patriots are dead to me after what they did to me last week. They ran me out of 24 units single-handedly. With that being said, I am on the Patriots here, plus 10.5. It's too many points. I mean, these guys are getting paid to play football too, Carter. It's not, there's no difference. And I think a lot of people are going to see that Mac Jones is out and that Green Bay is definitely a superior team and just bet up these Packers all week. So I think I'm going to go with Patriots away.
That's the thing. So the line opened at -5. Now it's 10.5. Mac Jones is not worth 5.5 points.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. And like we even talked about Hoyer and Zap, whatever you want to call him, you're kind of getting the same thing in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I probably end up throwing Green Bay in a 10-point tease, even though everybody probably will. Denver at Las Vegas. This is this is kitchen sink game for the Raiders. Raiders -2, over under 44.5. This is where you take the Raiders. You take the Raiders here.
I think so too. It's kind of crazy to think that a team that hasn't won a game is favored right now. Broncos are what, 2-1? I would lean Raiders, but it's something. Those away divisional dogs, man. I don't know. That'd be a game time decision.
I don't think Raiders go 0-4. I do. NFL, shame on you for only giving us 3 late afternoon games. We need 4 minimum. Yeah. I mean, even though we have the London game, we're still we have like 9 1:00 games. We don't need that many. I mean, even if you're throwing us a Jets Steelers game in the late afternoon, that's fine. We just need one more screen just to keep us, like, everyone has their late afternoon nap. It's reaching the end of the second quarter. You're doing your late afternoon bets where you're usually chasing aren't going that great. You take your nap, you wake up. It's like the end of halftime. You're in a little 45-minute nap, and you're back. You're back. Sunday night game, Kansas City at Tampa Bay. Kansas City -2.5, over under 45.5. Monsoon game, so you can't really say anything about the total. I mean, if this game actually happens, you have to go under. There's no other choice. If this game is played in Tampa and it is hurricane weather, you absolutely have to go with the Buccaneers here because they can run the ball. They have the better running back.
Yeah, so I got on the wrong side of this one too. I have Tampa Bay +1, and then I re-upped on them Tampa Bay +3, and I'm on the over. And that was before I knew of the imminent doom that was coming to Florida. So that kind of stinks. But I got it at 45 and it's gone up. So
But on the bright side, what if this game got moved to like New Orleans? And you're in a dome game all of a sudden. Tom Brady can't play in New Orleans. You got your Tampa would be ruined, but Chiefs would win. Okay. But we'd get the over.
I have the most money on the over. So as long as we get the over, I'm fine with that. But this will be an interesting game. Both of these teams could have possibly been looking ahead a bit to this one. And yeah, we'll see. This one will be good.
That's the whole thing. If it's really bad weather, I do like the Buccaneers here. I think Leonard Fournette can just run. And I don't trust Clyde Edwards-Helaire to run in bad weather. I just don't. He just can't. He hasn't proved it once.
Mm-hmm.
But if we have a good weather game, give me the Chiefs every which way. I want Chiefs for everything. And then Rams at the Niners, Monday night game. We finally don't have to watch an NFC East primetime game on Monday night. Niners -2.5 against the Rams, over under 42.5. This line is telling you take the Niners. Vegas is begging you to take the Rams, begging you. They want everybody to take the Rams, and I'm gonna outthink Vegas. There's a reason, as Big Ev from Barstool Sports likes to say, there's a reason why casinos are billion-dollar companies and are built in billion-dollar buildings. It's because of games like this where they're going to sucker everyone into Rams +2.5. No. Niners -2.5 is the play.
See, I'm thinking the exact opposite as you, Carter, and I'm thinking they're begging us to take San Francisco here because it's a home divisional matchup. Oh, 49ers just have to win by a field goal. That's all. All they got to do is win by a field goal.
We just saw how humiliating the Niners were against the Broncos. We saw how awful they were. I mean, they were terrible. And then we see the Rams. Rams are coming off a convincing win over the Cardinals. The Rams, they're 2-1. Niners 1-2.
But Carter, you see, like everybody was watching the same game, and everybody's asking the same questions we are. Why are the 49ers favored? There's got to be a reason that we don't know.
And that's because of Vegas. They know. And that's
why they know. Oh, I don't know. My brain hurts. I'm going Rams because I think whenever you see a line like 2.5, you got to go the other way. But I don't know. Those away divisional dogs, man. I'm telling you.
I just think that the Rams. I just think people are going to see the Rams as an underdog, and they're just going to be like, the Niners should not be favored against anybody. Especially after last week, they couldn't score 12 points.
I see what you're saying, Carter. That's the thing. I get what you're saying. I don't know. This one's tough. Maybe we make a little personal bet on this one because I think I'm pretty confident on the Rams +2.5.
We'll do it on Wednesday. Wednesday. We'll work it out on Wednesday. All right, let's get into college football real quick. All right, let's recap a little college football from this weekend. Your Michigan Wolverines. Kind of sketchy against Maryland. Michigan barely squeaked this one out. I did want to say this, though. I have a question for you. Playing such bad teams to start out the season, does that hurt you in the long run?
Well, the teams we were playing weren't that bad, Carter. Let's maybe pull back on that a little bit. But I don't think it will. And in all seriousness, because I like to play the Michigan fan card or whatever, Maryland's not a bad team. They're not that bad,
but Michigan didn't look that good.
There was one moment during the game that gave me a bit of inner peace and a bit of solace. And it was towards the end of the game when JJ McCarthy had that like 20 or 30 yard pass to Ronnie Bell. And it assured me that they still have it. So I'm not sure. I don't know if those first 3 games affect us in any way. I think this was a good wake up call. We have a really tough matchup against Iowa next week. I saw some crazy stat where I don't think they've allowed a rushing touchdown this year. And that's pretty much all we do is Blake Corum gets rushing touchdowns. So I think they're like 10.5 point favorites. That'll be a very
Opened at
interesting
four and a
game.
half. Opened at 4.5.
Dude, I don't know what the heck they were thinking. I saw that, and there's sometimes like, I don't know what's going on, but when I saw 4.5, I was like, there's absolutely no way they think it's that close. And it took 30 minutes until it was up to 10.
Exactly. It literally. I saw the line. I texted you guys immediately. I was like, what? Didn't have access to it at the moment. Couldn't put it in. Unfortunately, missed it. I did want to say this though. Michigan in their first 4 weeks, they have been favored by a combined 147 points.
Offensive juggernaut. Always have been. I don't see why that would surprise anybody.
Oh my goodness. Yep, Michigan pulls it off against Maryland. Moving on, Wake, Clemson. I thought this was the best game. The best game of the weekend.
Didn't watch it, but I think I said something about the under on the show last week. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was bad.
Yeah, I was didn't know it. Jeff Nadeau. Shout out Jeff Nadeau. If you are on Twitter, you like to talk about, you like to place a little investment on sports. Jeff Nadeau's the guy to follow. Follow his blogs, man. They are, I think he's 12-2. And he put out an early pick. It was over 55 in this one. He put it out like Tuesday. And I was like, okay, whatever. Forgot I even took it. Completely forgot it. Forgot I put 2 units on it. Totally forgot. Turns out, what a play. What a play. Shout out, Jeff. Thank you. Free money all weekend. That dude is on fire. Clemson won 51-45 in overtime. I have this. People are now saying DJ Uiagalelei Manele is Super Smash Bros. Melee is they're saying he's good now. All of a sudden, everyone's like, oh no, he's back. Like he's legit.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, this Wake Forest defense is horrendous. It's so bad. I'm not on the DJ whatever train. I'm not on DJ whatsoever. I do think Sam Hartman potentially may be a top 5 quarterback in college football.
I didn't watch any of the game, but I was keeping updates on my phone, and just how many times I see touchdown pass Sam Hartman. I would tend to agree with you. He seems like a pretty good.
He's making some NFL throws. I mean, lightning throws. He threw for 337, 6 touchdowns, 0 picks. 10 for 29 against a legit Clemson defense. They were even getting pressure onto Wake too. And
did you say he was 10 for 29?
20 for 29. 20 for 29.
Okay, I was going to say 6 touchdown passes in 10.
That's
impressive.
like a Jameis Winston stat line. No, I think Sam Hartman's a legit top 5 quarterback in college football. I think my guy Jaron Hall, they're like neck and neck right there. Moving on, Florida, Tennessee. Speaking of insanely good quarterbacks, Hendon Hooker, ridiculous. You were on it before the season. I'll let you take a victory lap in a second. I just want to ask this: how did Virginia Tech screw that one up so bad?
I don't know, man.
He is good.
He is a very good quarterback, and we saw glimpses of it last year. Joe Milton was the starter, former Michigan guy, represent. But when they put Hooker in, he looked amazing, and I'm really glad he got the starting job this year. I don't want to take a victory lap yet because I need to cash that ticket first. Oh, Carter, if I cash that ticket. But anyway, yeah, very good quarterback. Anthony Richardson, a good quarterback as well. Very fun game to watch. I actually did watch this one, and it was fun seeing him go back and forth. The overcashed, right?
Overcash, baby. Overcash.
Let's go.
I'm doing easy one. I did my duty in the parlays this week. I went 2-0 in the parlays. I did what I had to do. I grinded. I did the homework. I said, you know what? This is what I like this week. We have a 4-man parlay coming up for college football and NFL this weekend. This is the week we hit it. This is the week we hit it. We're getting better. We're getting better.
If we hit a 4-teamer this late in the season, I think it would still pay for it would negate all the losses up to now.
100%.
Be 12-1 or something, right?
I think it's 12-1. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
yeah.
just saying, that's very much a possibility.
Yeah, and I think
But
we hit both of them this weekend. We go 24-1. You're
you're the
24.
one cashing all these tickets, and your picks of the parlay are hitting. That's why the podcast is named after you, Carter.
There we
Not
go.
because you cut the clips or promote the socials, because you're giving the winners.
I'm putting in the homework. I'm putting in the homework. Over 63 was a lock. We all knew it. We all knew it. And you guys talked me out of. I can't remember what the other pick was. There was another pick.
I ended up taking
it might have
Tennessee team total.
I think it might have been Iowa Rutgers over, which also cashed. That was electric. That was electric watching that. I had so much fun watching that game. When I saw there was that the scoop and score, it was over. I knew I was so happy. I was like, there we go. I got my over. I'm sorry about that one.
See,
but
taking the over in that game is like rooting for the Axis in World War II. That's what you pulled right there, Carter. Is because when you get the lowest total in all of college football ever, and you take the over,
I felt so good. I felt so good. It felt dirty and it felt good. I mean, cashing an Iowa over. But yeah, Tennessee's defense blows. Back to the Tennessee game. Tennessee's defense blows. Mm-hmm. And I have to go to Neyland Stadium. In the next year.
Very fun. Very fun. I went once when Tennessee was bad and they played Kentucky. This had to have been like 2014. And it was packed. When they were bad, they were not a good team.
Yeah. I mean, they played BYU in 2019. BYU won in overtime. Ended up last second. I was in the car and I was like, you know what? Do I drive, make the 3-hour drive to Knoxville? And I was like, nah, I'll just watch from home. There's no need. Sitting there watching with the pizza, just, BYU wins in overtime. Should have gone to the game. I regret it. But anyhow, Neyland Stadium, man. I mean, that looked awesome.
The checker touchdown, I just real quick, that is something as a kid, I just remember seeing it and thinking it was the coolest thing right there with the Boise blue field. And that's one of the coolest things ever to see in person. But go ahead.
Shout out Theo Vaughn and Caleb Presley dumping the Gatorade.
That was awesome.
See that after the game for some reason. Real quick, Arkansas, Texas A&M. Just a weird game. Arkansas had that game in their hands and they blew it. You see, Wyoming did it, or maybe it was Tulsa. It was in that Wyoming-Tulsa game a couple weeks ago. The field goal literally hit the top right.
That was awesome. That was pretty cool to see. And it just goes to show how deep the SEC is, too. Sometimes you have to step back and look at that. Like, there's a lot of good teams in that conference.
Also, I just don't understand how these college kickers are missing extra points. Like, if it gets blocked, that's different. If there's so many college kickers missing extra points, and as an experience myself, I said, you know what? If you're gonna trash all these kickers, you need to go out and kick yourself. Mm-hmm. So yesterday, I did my job. After the afternoon games ended, I went out to a football field. I went and kicked some field goals. I was like, all right, let's try this out. Kicked a college extra point. That's easy. Moved back. We did 25. We did 20, or we did 18. 18's a college extra point, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. 18, easy. Drained it. 25, drained it. 30, drained it. I said, you know what? We're going to skip 35. Let's just go to 40. 40 took a while. 40 took about 20. 40 took about 25 attempts. 40 cash. We got 40. I hit 40. I didn't try at anything after that. My feet were killing me.
Where were you missing? Were you missing left or right, or were you short?
It was distance. On the 40. Okay. I think if I was kicking on a better field with cleats, I think I could hit 45. I don't think I could get 50 though. I don't think I could get 50. That'd be tough.
I don't blame you for not getting 50 for not being
40 felt good. 40 felt good, but I think maybe we walk onto the BYU team. We'll see. Ooh. Maybe just for content purposes. But yeah, back to this Arkansas game. Arkansas, I don't even know. They're gonna crush BYU. I'll tell you that right now. But they're okay. They got Bama this week. That's gonna be an interesting one. I don't know what to think of that one. We'll get into that line in a little bit, but I still think Texas A&M is terrible.
Yeah, these SEC teams will just beat each other up until one's left, and it's usually Georgia or Alabama.
I guess, man. Oklahoma blew their playoff chances.
Oh, 100%.
It's over.
And isn't it funny? We had this conversation about, Oklahoma or USC, and we were all exactly right. USC.
Yep. Oklahoma loses to Kansas State. Kansas State, scrappy, man. Deuce Vaughn, one of the best running backs in college football. They, Adrian Martinez strikes once again in Oklahoma. Look, I don't think Oklahoma was ever that good. People were very high on this team. I just didn't think they were that good. And I'm not going to tell you that I was, super right about them because I took Nebraska plus 11. I did that. That was something I did.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
So I can't
blemish.
like pat myself on the back, but I was never that high on this Oklahoma team. Big 12 will cannibalize itself. Oklahoma State's, I think, the last undefeated team here. That just won't last. No chance.
Mm-hmm.
We're only 4 weeks in? No chance that lasts.
Yep. And it seems to happen every year. I mean, even last year with Baylor and Oklahoma State, just beat each other up until no one gets to enjoy the college football playoff.
USC, last game we'll talk about, USC versus Oregon. Oregon State's legit, man. USC won 17-14. Before we get into the actual game, Pac-12 Network, everybody needs to be fired. Everybody needs to be fired. Ridiculous. I think it was only like specific cable providers or satellite providers you had to be able to watch that game. Even if you had that provider and tried to stream the game on Pac12.com or Pac12 Network or Pac12 Now, whatever it's called, you couldn't watch it. Wouldn't let you watch it. It'd let you watch volleyball, though. It would definitely let you watch volleyball. Weren't allowed to watch the Oregon State USC game, so I didn't even get to see it. And I was glad I didn't get to see it because my over missed by a lot.
I don't think anybody expected to be that low scoring of a game.
No, I didn't think either defense could do anything. But the thing is, man, Oregon State's legit, and I did watch the highlights from this one. USC finding a way to win is so important to me in this game because they're going to have to do that against Utah this year. And when they're going to have to, it's going to be a tight one against Utah. They have to find a way to win. Seeing them win that game is why you give Lincoln Riley $1 gazillion and whatever he wants. Because before that, no other coach was winning that game for you. That's a classic game USC loses. Winning in a dogfight made me really, really, really like this Trojan team.
Yeah, I agree. USC's, I think you could say they're legit. And Oregon State, they played extremely well too. It'll be interesting to see coming down the line if, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, who blows it and lets USC in, or maybe USC blows it on their own end. So, yeah, it is really lame about not being able to watch that game, though. I'll be honest, I wasn't trying to watch it, but I saw everybody complaining on Twitter. I would be upset.
I have a blog coming out about this week. It's such an advantage being on a mountain time zone. I used to growing up, I was like, oh, Eastern time's the best. You get to stay up till 1 a.m. and watch games. When you're growing up, you're like, oh, I get to stay up late, being, somewhat of an adult, it's hell on earth being on the East Coast. I don't know how people on the East Coast do it. I haven't done it I do it periodically whenever I fly back, 4 or 5 times a year, and it kills me. I can't watch. I love watching the Golden State Warriors. I can't get enough of watching the Golden State Warriors or late night NBA. I love watching the late night TNT game. It doesn't get over till 1 a.m. 1 a.m. on the East Coast. But your mountain time, you're done at 11. Sunday night football's done at 9:45. It's great. It's great.
That's one of the best things about going to Las Vegas is the fact that the football games start at 10 a.m. and not 1 p.m. 100%. The nights get a little boring because the games that start at 10 start at 7. So, but
yeah, you do have that, but I would rather have that. A soccer fan, it's the worst. Being a soccer fan, it's terrible. 5:30 kickoffs are not ideal. Pacific time, you have a 4:30 a.m. kickoff. That's not just, you just can't do it. 11 a.m. kickoff for Mountain Time's not great. Central Time's probably the GOAT for that one. A noon kickoff's right, because 11 a.m. is too early to order a pizza.
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't think about it that way. Yeah.
Because then it becomes a halftime pizza, but you want your football, you want your food there now, 1 o'clock. Because 1 o'clock, you're like, oh, this is pizza eating time. Or, whatever's cooked after church kind of thing.
See, the first thing I went to was sleep. And I was like, 11 a.m. is perfect. Because I normally on the weekend wake up at 10:30 anyways. So I can do my fantasy lineups, get last minute bets in. I didn't think about the food situation. So you brought to light a good point there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Central Time, GOAT for that. Pacific, 10 a.m. is way too early. 10 a.m. is wildly too early. I can't do that. Anyhow, real quick in college football, other storylines real quick. Jalen Daniels, he's legit, man. Kansas is solid.
Yeah, kind of a travesty they're not ranked. I mean,
yeah, that's a joke. That's a joke. Other notes here. Remind me to never take Iowa State under any circumstances ever again in the rest of the season. They're getting added to Hawaii on the I'm not allowed to take list. I already told you. I made a promise. I will not take Hawaii. Iowa State, you have joined that list. I don't know why I took them. Grant was so right about that game on every level. He was so right about that game. Iowa State and Hawaii. I can do Hawaii overs though. I can do them. I won't, but I can.
If you need to, okay.
Yeah, just on like probation, you know. It's not like a life sentence to Hawaii. UMass, same thing. They're getting added to the list.
Yeah, it's tough to cover 9.5 when you score 0 points. I will say that.
And I don't think they got to the 30.
That was bad. That was bad. I kept watching it on the Action app. I was like just looking for updates because it was on like.
Did you turn on the game at all?
No, I didn't watch it at all.
It was so I forget that Temple plays at the link.
Mm-hmm.
Playing Temple versus UMass in an NFL stadium should just not. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's just mean.
You should not be allowed.
I thought I was watching a COVID game. It really felt like a COVID game. I'm sitting there watching. I was like, "Is this 2020? Like, what is happening?" There was no one.
I watched the MAC championship at Ford Field last December. Fun. I mean, talk about the easiest parking situation ever. That just made me. That
sounds great.
That's so funny, dude. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that should not be allowed. That's kind of embarrassing.
UNC, their defense has to be the worst in college football. I mean, giving up 40 plus points to a backup quarterback at Notre Dame when they can barely score 10 against anybody else. That Gene Chizik, Carolina is just a revolving door of defensive coordinators.
Yeah, it didn't look great. The whole App State game doesn't help his cause either.
App State, shout out JMU +7. Also, I tweeted that out. People who don't believe in jinxes are just, come on. I mean, come on. Yeah. Every single person on College Game Day, Texas, all went Texas. Texas Tech wins in overtime. Cash that +7. And then App State, JMU +7. Cashes, even though they were down 28-3. Still cashed. Jinxes are real. But Texas comes back down to earth. Iowa Rutgers overhit. That was so gross. Georgia looked sketchy. Georgia looked a little sketchy.
Yeah, that's they played Kent State, right?
Yeah,
a little trouble in paradise.
One possession game in the second half.
If only there was a podcast out there that would have warned you about that. Georgia maybe not being legit.
You tried to track back on that though. You tried to track back on it.
Carter. No. Let's not talk about that. I think that might be selective hearing, even though I definitely think that did happen. I'm actually going to go back to my original take that Georgia might not be that good. I am still holding true to Tennessee beating them. I do think Tennessee beats Georgia this year.
I don't hate that. And last thing, unders were so fun this week. I did Utah State UNLV under 62.5, and that game was at 50 points halfway through the third quarter. I'm like, oh, well, it's dead. Whatever. I didn't look at it, didn't check. I watched a little bit of the game. I was like, whatever, it's fine. Check my Action app. Halfway through the fourth quarter, only 8 points are scored, 34-24. I'm in this thing. I'm in it. I think there was a couple red zone turnovers. I don't know what actually happened. All of a sudden, I didn't look at it. I was driving. Pull up my phone again on Action. Just cashed it right there.
Unders are as easy as that, Carter. No points. It's as simple as that. And the thing about UNLV is whenever they do the little turnover slot machine, that's going in your favor when you have the under. So
that's true. All right, let's do initial thoughts on week 5 college football lines. All right, little initial thoughts on the week 5 lines. run through some of the big games. Real quick, Utah State, BYU Thursday night game. Love the Cougs all the way around. Bad game against Wyoming. Refs had their hands all over Wyoming plus 21.5. Saved myself on the live lines. And I forgot to say this. I teased college football this week.
Oh no! I
Grant
guess
and
it
I
worked for Grant.
And we both won. We both won our teasers.
Wow!
I had the sketchiest teaser in the world. So hear this one. I don't know why I did it. I think it was just when you're in the bathroom and all of a sudden you're scrolling on your phone. You're like, well, this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep. So I had a 10-point. I did a 10-point teaser in college football. It was BYU minus 12. Very close there. JMU plus 17.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was bad at first because it was 28-3. And then over 23.5 Iowa Rutgers.
Oh my gosh.
It cashed, and it cashed in the worst way possible. BYU's minus 24, over under 61. I love BYU. First half, minus 13.5. This Utah State team is legitimately terrible. They're right there with I hope. Do they play Hawaii this year?
Oh, that'd be ugly.
They do play Hawaii in November. Game of the year. Utah State, first 4 games. Let's real quick. Utah State, 31-20. They were a 24.5-point favorite against UConn. Did not cover. Bama, they were a 41.5-point dog against Bama. Bama won 55-0. They were a 7-point favorite to FCS Weber State. They lost 35-7.
Oh my goodness.
And then they were a 3-point dog to UNLV, and they lost by 10. Now, you might say, Utah State's due for a cover. Not so fast. BYU coming off 2 non-covers, and you could say BYU's due for a cover, so that equals out right there. And the receivers are coming back for BYU. Gunnar Romney's playing. Defense is coming back. It is somewhat of a look-ahead spot for the Notre Dame game, and we all know as BYU fans, Utah State likes to injure BYU players in this game, so watch out for that. They play dirty. They play dirty over there in Logan. Game will be in Provo Thursday night, 6 p.m. I'll be at the game. I love the Cougs all around in this one. Washington at UCLA. Washington minus 3.5 on the road, over under 65.5. I don't know where to go in this game. Both teams are 4-0. My heart leans UCLA for some reason.
I just from clips I've seen on Twitter and pictures, that UCLA crowd does not show up for these games. So,
and they're still 4-0. They're still 4-0.
That's a tough one. Part of me wants to go with Penix and Washington. I probably won't end up playing it, but that would be my.
It is a Friday night game, so it's a Friday night game. Warning, so you might have to.
Yeah, I might have to. Those Friday night games get me.
10:30 Eastern kickoff.
Oh my goodness. That's going to be a late night. Oh, man.
Yep. You're going to go out to dinner, and then you're going to drive back, and it's going to be like 9:50, or it's going to be like 10:15 after you're done hanging out, getting back from dinner, and you're like, all right, well, UCLA Washington's on. I got to do this. Michigan at Iowa. Michigan's minus 10.5. We talked about this game a little earlier. Over-under is 42.5. I still think I like Michigan minus 10.5 here.
I think I do too. Michigan really only has to score 11 points for this to cash, because I don't know if Iowa scores on them at all. I mean, their offense is so bad. And
Iowa has covered 2 weeks in a row, which makes me kind of like Michigan.
It's tough. I don't know. I think if Michigan can get that offense going like they can, they haven't seen a defense like this yet. It's hard telling. It's hard telling right now in Wolverine land.
Kentucky at Ole Miss. Ole Miss minus 6.5, over under 54.5. Man, I like Ole Miss a lot in this one.
Ole Miss is favored by 6.5.
Ole Miss is favored by 6.5 points, and I like Ole Miss in this one. I think this Kentucky team is not good at all. I don't think they're good. You look at the teams they're playing, and they're barely getting by. The score lies in their first matchup of the year against Miami of Ohio. That game lied. You even had that game. I think you were trying to middle that one. Kentucky won 37-13. Fine. Kentucky beat Florida 26-16. Fine. Kentucky beat Youngstown State 31-0. Fine. They were a 27-point favorite last week and only won by 8 against Northern Illinois. But you might say it was a look ahead spot for them. You could say the same thing about Tulsa because they were a 21-point favorite and only won by 8 against Tulsa.
Oh, yeah, this is a tough game. And, Levis is a decent quarterback. I don't know.
Total's 54.5.
I would just have to go to the trusty under.
I think I like Ole Miss minus 6.5, even though that plus 6.5 line, that's our love fest. Speaking of plus 6.5, Oklahoma at TCU plus 6.5, Oklahoma minus 6.5, over under 68. I lean TCU here, but you would think Oklahoma would have a wake up spot and come in and just whoop them.
Yeah, and also you have to think that maybe Vegas is counting for an overreaction from the Oklahoma loss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Oregon State at Utah. Utah minus 10.5, over under 55.5. This feels like Vegas wants you to take Oregon State. So 10.5 is a lot of points.
It really is. I tell you what, that's the thing about being on the East Coast is I don't get a feel for these Pac-12 teams because they're always playing after I'm in bed.
And it's a 2 p.m. kickoff for you.
Oh, that's nice. Now I can start to get acclimated this week, Carter. There we go.
But yeah, there's a lot of weird lines this week. Speaking of another weird line, Wake Forest at Florida State, both ranked teams, top 25 matchup. Florida State minus 7.
Oh, wow.
Over under 66. Oh, also, TCU Oklahoma was over under 68. I like that under, by the way.
Yeah, that under sounds good. The trusty under. I like the over on this one though, on the Florida State game.
Man, I think I kind of like the under too here. Is the hurricane hitting Tallahassee?
Oh, I don't know.
But 66 is a lot of points if there's a hurricane.
It's gonna be hard to throw the ball in a hurricane.
That's what I'm saying. We'll
have to do some research on that.
Yeah, we'll get our weatherman Grant in here. Bama at Arkansas. Bama minus 17. Over under 61. I don't like it. I don't like it. I lean Arkansas.
I think I'm with you there. It seems like a lot of points for Alabama.
This is one of those. Within the first drive whether this one hits or not.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any weird backdoor stuff. There's not going to be. It's not. Immediately you're going to be like, okay, Arkansas is going to keep this close. Bama doesn't have it today, and it's at Arkansas. That's why I kind of like the plus 17. Oklahoma State at Baylor. Baylor's minus 2.5, over under 56. Stay away from me. This is it for the Pac-12 if Oklahoma State loses.
Oh yeah.
Kind of lean Baylor here since they're a lower ranked team, favored at home, kind of like the Oregon BYU thing. I kind of lean Baylor.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think I would go Baylor too.
Let's see. Any other lines sticking out to me real quick before we get into the last one that I wanted to do? I kind of like Rutgers plus 41 against Ohio State.
Normally I would. I'm not
touching that game.
Ohio State always has Rutgers' number. They always have their number. It's insane how. Ohio State. Is
Shiano still there?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't like that then. Let's see here. Oh, this is the one I wanted to talk about. I love this one. Mississippi State minus 3.5 to Texas A&M, over under 45.5. I love Mississippi State.
Yeah. See, again, I don't know. I'm not too acclimated. I don't know, but Mississippi State's favored.
Mississippi State is favored to a 17th ranked Texas A&M. It's in Starkville. Gross color matchup, by the way. Gross color matchup. So, but I'm going to be on Mississippi State 100%.
I don't hate that. That would be my first guess, my first take.
And then the last game I wanted to talk about. This is College Game Day. I think it is. It should be. It's primetime game. ABC 7:30 matchup Eastern time. NC State, the 10th ranked Wolfpack, facing the 5th ranked Clemson Tigers.
Oh man.
Clemson is minus 6.5. Over under is 42.5. And I am loving the under. Little tidbit for you: weather. The hurricane does hit South Carolina on Saturday.
Okay.
It'll be 35 mile per hour winds plus rain. So a lot of running the ball. So, and against great defenses.
That's going to be a very good game.
Elite top 10, 15 defenses. Even I know Clemson got 45 dropped on them this week. That doesn't mean they're a bad defense.
I appreciate you taking an under. I kind of need NC State because I have them over 10 wins this season.
I do as well.
I accounted for them to lose this game, but it'd be nice to win it and just kind of cruise into the 10 wins. That's a tough one. 6.5.
I think I'm going to be on NC State in this one.
It's at Clemson?
At Clemson, bad weather. I think I lean NC State on this one. Also because little bit of a letdown spot for Clemson. Little bit of a letdown spot after a big win against Wake. Like, as crazy that is to say about college football, you would never in a million years be like, oh yeah, and Clemson is going to have a letdown spot after beating Wake Forest and then facing NC State. Not a chance. I think it's NC State in the under for me. I think NC State wins this one 21-17.
Really? Yeah, I think it's possible. I like NC State too. The away dog conference
plus
game.
6.5 again.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Do you have any other lines that you've seen this week that you will stuck out to you?
Maryland -7. They are going to absolutely destroy Michigan State. They can't defend against the pass for anything, and Tagovailoa Jr. is a pretty good quarterback, top 5 in the Big Ten.
Michigan State coming off a bye though?
No, Michigan State lost last week.
Who did they play?
They played
Minnesota. Duh.
Yeah, they got like 34-7. Michigan State not good. There's trouble in paradise, quarterback issues. I guess Thorne's not the guy right now. So I love Maryland, but other than that, I think that's the only one I have right now.
Another trap line I saw was UNC VT over unders 51. Why is that only 51? This UNC team can easily put up 4 touchdowns, and they can also give up 9. So
don't let Connor hear that.
I'll be here for Wednesday. He's gonna hear. I'm telling you, he's gonna say UNC -9, or over 51. It's the squarest pick I've ever seen. Connor, I know you're listening. Do not pick over 51. It's too easy. It doesn't make sense. I do want to take Kansas plus 3.5, but I won't because Iowa State's involved, so I'm not allowed to take that.
Responsible.
Yeah, no, and I want to take them bad. I'm trying to see here. Not a lot of other lines really sticking out to me this week. Duke -2.5 stuck out to me. I kind of like Duke there.
Who do they have?
Virginia. Virginia stinks.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say I don't hate that.
And this Duke team's not that bad. Their over-under was 3 at some places, so it's already pushing for you.
Just need one more. Maybe they get it this week.
They have Georgia Tech in their schedule too. I don't hate that. Nebraska's -6 against Indiana. Ugh.
Nebraska's -6?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
a stay
tough
away
one too.
Everything else though, nothing's really poking. Nothing's really touching me. No, that's about it. Also, nice win on the Middle Tennessee State.
Oh my gosh, that was insane. I wish I would have taken a money line. Who would have thought? I definitely didn't think it was gonna go like that.
Miami's so bad. Oh, last thing, and then we'll get out of here. Over under 37.5 Army or Navy Air Force.
Gotta go
under. Yeah, it's
the academy.
It's the academy game. You got to go under. This is the one that goes over though.
Wouldn't that be it? Yeah,
it
might as well not even watch.
Yep. Yeah. No, because I mean, Air Force does put up points. Air Force does put up points, except against Wyoming, apparently.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Yeah.
that'll do it for us. We'll be back on Friday. Make sure to check. It's going to be we have a jam-packed episode on Friday. We have week what is it, 4? NFL week 4 preview. We're going to go through lines, pick our parlays, our mortal locks. College football week 5 lines, parlays, and mortal locks. And we have a big interview coming. We have former NBA champ, head coach of the Utah Valley Wolverines. We have Mark Madsen coming on the show. That interview will be there too. We'll have that separate. We'll have that on the YouTube channel separately as well, and in the episode as well. Timestamps and all that will be on there together. And make sure to check out all the socials. Make sure to check out Dylan's articles on Action. Scroll down, like we said before. Keep scrolling down to the bottom. Hit the green play sign. They're winners, so always hit the green play sign. Scroll down every single time. You go on Twitter, follow us on Twitter. You'll see every Saturday night, Sunday morning. Scroll down there or just go on the Action app right now. Download it. It's great. Awesome. That'll do it from us, and we'll see y'all Friday. Bye.